Hi, I'm Leona Larsen. I'm a fiber artist and I live in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, which is a wonderful place to live if you're a fiber artist because there are a lot of us around in this place. I also belong to a group called Grandmothers for Grandmothers here in Saskatchewan, and it started actually here in Saskatchewan, and then they hooked up with Stephen Lewis in Ottawa. And the reason I got involved with them is because I like to do things where I can give my work away and I don't charge for it. So every year I make 3 or 4 contributions for Grandmothers, and it grew from there into the point where they started making cards, taking pictures of what I did, making cards, and making money for the group. But it isn't the only group that I belong to. I belong to about 3 or 4 other groups, and it all involves fabric. And if you can see the kind of fabric that I work with for Grandmothers, it's all African motifs. It's a lot of batiks that are made in Africa. And speaking of the cards, there they are, okay? The ones that I make. But I think in this world that we live in, we have to really be open-minded about people and about places and about how we relate to them and people who are new to Canada. And we do have a lot of new people coming into Canada. And one of the things that I know the ladies in my group are doing is they are contributing sewing machines to the immigrant ladies that are coming to Saskatchewan. And these ladies are getting involved and they're making clothes that they can send to places in South America and all over the world. My passion is opening people's eyes to what is available for people to use to communicate how they feel with other people, to other people. And one of the ways I do it is I make wall hangings of African women. I make wall hangings of Arabic women. I make wall hangings of animals that are on the endangered list. I'm just open to all sorts of interesting ways to communicate with people in the world. I joined a group that were making a quilt, and I made my first quilt, okay? And after I finished making my first quilt, I thought, I am not doing this anymore. I don't like it. It's not my thing. But I got a brainwave. I thought, hey, Leona, I wonder if you could paint with fabric. And that's how I got started at my art. I started using ordinary fabrics that I could find in shops all across Canada and in the United States. And then I learned that you do not have to use commercial fabrics if you don't want to. You can dye your own fabric. And so I started dyeing my own fabric with different methods of dyeing. And as things grew and things got bigger, I started teaching. And people really wanted to learn. And my idea with them was they were all quilters and they made quilts. And I thought, girls, you can get out of the box. Come on, let's do some wall hangings. Let's get out of the box. And that's how my teaching started. This idea came to me from an African batik that I saw. And I thought, I wonder if I could turn this into something really lovely. And so I started to think about what I could do, and I started hauling together a bunch of batik fabric. And from this particular little batik that I saw, this is what developed. And this is going to be donated to Grandmothers for their raffle that they have every year when we have our dinner on the Women's Day in Canada. And you can see that there's lots of beadwork on it. There's lots of interesting fabrics. And when it's finished, it will have a border on it. And somebody will buy it. Somebody will win it in the raffle, and that'll be great because then I'll have another piece out there somewhere. As we grow and as we learn as human beings here, We change, everything changes, and we have to be adaptable, and we have to change with people and with life and with our art. It makes me feel very good that as a Canadian, I can contribute in some way, a small way, with things that are happening around the world, and it makes me feel really good inside. And I love doing this, and I will continue to do it as long as I'm possible. My mother lived to 100. She made her last dress when she was 97. So I'm hoping when I'm 97 I can make my last wall hanging, and it will be going to Grandmothers for Grandmothers. Thank you so much for inviting me to speak at Threads. I didn't expect that I would be included in something that was going across the country, but oh boy, Saskatchewan, I'm proud that I can do this for Threads. Thank you so much.